All right, how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 60th anniversary retro carded Marvel Legends Lizard. Packaging is your basic retro carded Spider-Man with that nice purple backdrop. Cool picture of the lizard, little sticker, kind of unique. 60 amazing years. You can see lashing a tail effect, which is cool. On the back, it reads, "Desperate to be whole again, geneticist Kirk Connors injects himself with a regenerative serum derived from reptile DNA, only to find himself transformed into the monstrous lizard." And it gives you kind of a quick look at the accessories and their interchangeability. And there's the barcode for anyone who wants it. So currently right now, as you can see, I have him displayed with his two open gripping hands and his more reptilian head that doesn't look so 60s comic booky, just goofy. But as you can see, all of this looks fantastic. I absolutely adore this head sculpt. Has super nice shading within these actual scales. All the paint looks fantastic, and I love the curvature of the tongue. The eyes look great. Absolutely no complaints here. Looks phenomenal. Then the hands are also very good sculpt. They're very much in proportion with each other. This one's kind of different because it almost reminds me of like a wall crawling hand, but it obviously isn't. However, it does look cool. I would have preferred that it looked more like this one though. Interesting too, he does not have like sharp fingertips. He just has some fat edges on his fingers, but they still look really unique. I love the style, and I also love the shading as well. And then you can kind of wedge one of these like beakers in between his fingers if you want to make it look like he is throwing one of these. Of course, you could obviously balance them as well too, because they don't really grip them too well. And now I have him with his other accessories. We got this more goofy looking head, no yellow eyes, no sharp teeth. It almost reminds me of those creatures from Land of the Lost, but it is very cool. I love the scaling. Very unique, fun look. And then I have the gripping hands here, which also have beautiful shading. Very good. They grip the potions or the beakers super well. And then another fisted hand too if you want him to be knocking out Spidey. And then lastly, he comes with these two different formulas, potions, beakers, whatever you want to call them. But they're very neat. However, these bottles don't look very full, especially this one looks kind of weird inside. But this one looks better. Either way, very cool accessories. So as you can see, this guy obviously has really nice sculpting, really nice shading on the actual scaly portions of him. He's very different than the previous lizard we got. Some people like the more monstrous lizard look. Personally, I think it's super cool, but I do like this one a lot more. So looking at his actual body, the wrinkling in the clothes is really good. The colors look fantastic, even though it's just kind of a flat plastic. The feet are more like webbed than the previous version. I think they're more like lizardy, I guess, or like froggy looking, but they do look great. The shading isn't as prominent on the feet as it is like the hands and the face, but it still looks good. The tail is another exceptional accessory, which is very different than the previous one we got. I believe the previous tail, it might have been articulated. I can't remember. I don't own it anymore. But I do know it did not have bendy wire from what I can remember. And I do like this bendy wire. However, the previous tail did have a hinge at the very top of it, where this one just has a rotation. I would have preferred to have a hinge there too. You can kind of see it sticking in the peg. Bringing me to my next point, you can see the bottom of the tail has very nice sculpting as well. It still looks great despite these holes for the bendy wire. But the bendy wire does work very cool, and it's fun to get him in different poses with the tail. It is very, very cool accessory, and I'm glad to finally see bendy wire. Next, they just have to put it in Doc Ock's tentacles. The lab coat also looks great. I do like the sculpting on this as well, and he is pinless all the way around. The only complaint I think I have about this guy is the top of this coat here. I want him to stand up completely straight. And I mean, he doesn't, for most poses, he's not going to be. However, just I like to have the ability to do so if I want to. So I want him to stand up straight, but this tail kind of hits the coat and gets in the way a little bit. For the most part, this is good. However, I still feel like he's a little bit leaned forward. I'm being very nitpicky, but I think it would have been cool if they just added a tear here, like a little tear. I'm sure a person could do that if they wanted to, but it's tough. I don't want to make this look broken. So that's my only complaint. Otherwise, the actual lab coat looks phenomenal. Very pleased. So for his articulation, we get some cool G.I. Joe articulation because his neck actually moves. There's a ball joint in there. And then it looks like he does have a disc hinge right at the top of the neck. So that's fantastic. So he gets an amazing range of motion there. Phenomenal. Gets some really cool poses and pictures like this. His head looks very far down as well. His chin literally touches his chest. You can get very cool like pivoting out of the neck. And of course, a rotation all the way around. Very, very pleased with that. The arms go up about that far. They kind of get stopped by the top of the shoulder here. It's go about that far, but of course you can rotate it all the way around. There's a bicep rotation, double jointed, pinless elbows that go very, very far. Like this is great. His actual hand can almost touch his shoulder for the most part, so that's awesome. Rotation at the wrist, a hinge, all horizontal hinges. He also has a cut right here, so he's kind of a rotation, swivel, pivot. That's phenomenal. And then an ab crunch as well that kind of clicks back and forth. However, this serves to, this helps quite a bit put him back further than the ab crunch, as you can see. Because that tail still restricts it a little bit. But I kind of have him straight there, but I get worried that it's going to stress this plastic here. I don't know. Comment below if you think you have the same issue or if I'm just being too crazy and nothing's going to happen to this plastic here. So again, very good pivot, very cool posing, and a great ab crunch. The legs go out about this far. Doesn't look like there's any kind of drop down or anything. They do go forward quite a bit. They go back a little bit there. There's a cut at the thigh, double jointed knees as well, which go back about that far. Pretty good. There's a rotation here as well. And then a hinge at the ankle and an ankle pivot as well. And there are some peg holes on the bottom. So overall, the articulation scheme is fantastic. Then here's the Lizard next to the new Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. And I absolutely love the size of these two. I feel like it's totally perfect for pictures. And then here he is next to Attuma and the Renew Your Vows Spidey. And I mean, the Attuma is just for fun, so you get an idea of the size. But with the Renew Your Vows Spidey, I almost feel like this Spider-Man is a little too ripped and bulky for this Lizard. Personally, I just think the Lizard should be at least a little bit bigger than Spider-Man. He doesn't have to be absolutely monstrous by any means, but I still feel like the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man definitely works a lot better with this more classic looking Lizard, especially if you put this head on. That'll look very cool. Overall, I'm going to give this guy like a 9 out of 10. I love the fact that he's not restricted to like one position where he's constantly crouched down like that previous Lizard. And I love the fact that he can maintain his balance evidently when his tail is posed any which way. The variety you have with this figure in terms of his different accessories, his posability, just the level of control is there, so you can really pose him, manipulate him to create some fantastic pictures or displays. And he blends really, really well with this retro Spider-Man, this more original Spider-Man, which I love this figure, by the way. So I'm very, very pleased. I give this guy like a 9 out of 10. I think this is an absolutely perfect Lizard figure, and you can tell there was a lot of love put into it and care. And I don't know what else there is to say. It's fantastic. If you see it, definitely buy it. Buy 2. It is so cool, looks great in the package, and it's just a dream figure for me. Very, very pleased with this Curt Connors. If you got this far in the video, thank you. Please like and subscribe and comment. Let me know your thoughts on the back of the coat. Is there anything you would change about this figure? And do you like this figure? Have you enjoyed it? Do you prefer him or the old Lizard? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching and keep collecting. Peace.